Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Space and this is my channel, asparagusisreading. Let's get on to what this video is about. This video is going to be about the I never read book tag, which I saw Hardback Hoarder recently do a revisiting / reacting to updated version of it. She did do it 4 or 5 years ago, and she's redoing it, seeing if her responses are the same, seeing if her thoughts are the same, seeing what she said then. Like, how would she feel about that now? And I thought it'd be a really cool tag to do. Again, my first time doing it, so I don't know. I will warn you, I'm running out of video ideas, at least easy video ideas. All the ideas that I have take time because the time is needed to get access to the books, or the time is needed to actually film the video, because all of the videos I have require a longer time span, and so I'm kind of relying on vlogs and tags right now. So if we go an entire month of tags every week, I'm sorry, but I'm stuck at home. I don't know what else to do. So let's just get into this video. This does have 10 questions. I'm gonna try to go through each of them as quickly as possible, give the best response I can in the description of the book before this gets too long. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the first question is, I never read that. Name a book you've never read but everyone else has. That's probably one of the easiest questions. The Sister Crows series, well, basically any book Leigh Bardugo has written and published. I really can't give any good excuses as to why I haven't read it other than procrastination and procrastination. I've heard a lot of good things about this, and I procrastinated on reading it, and then I heard some trash things, and then I procrastinated on reading it, and then I was supposed to do a readathon with it, never did. Supposed to do buddy read, never did. Different buddy read, never did, and here we are. So Jess nevertheless bought this for me from my wish list, the box sets. At least these are the paperback edition, so I don't think they are sprayed edges like the hardcovers. There's a little note in here. I'll probably read that when I read the books. I believe what officially made me like push this to the top of my TBR is because of Chandler Ainley. She did a video where she read, I think it was the other book that goes with Ruin and Rising. I believe Ruin and Rising is up there. I have the collector's edition up there. I believe the first one, I think she read the first one in that series, and she described it so, bro, the title's literally right here. Shadow and Bone. I think she read Shadow and Bone, I can't remember. And she talked about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm convinced, and I want to read it. But here I am still procrastinating, so, yeah. Alright, second question. I never read anything so awesome. Name your favorite book. There's a lot of favorites, so we're just gonna show you some. And just gonna let you know that there's quite a lot, because I have a hard time just choosing one, and you know, why not just show you all and hope that maybe you pick up one of them in your lifetime, because they're great books, and they should, you know, be read. And yeah, so any of those books that I took off or pointed at would be great options, you know, just saying. Yeah. Alright, so the next question is, I never thought I would get through it. Name a book that you didn't like but powered through it anyway. Is there one on my shelf? Ooh, yes there is, okay. So one of those books that I would say I didn't really like but powered through would be The Hazelwood. This is a book that I heard a lot of really good news and hype about, really anticipated, really excited for it, beautiful cover. Got about 25-30% of the way through, and I was just like, I really don't know how to explain it other than that. Yeah. Question number 4. I will never finish that. Name a book that you don't plan on finishing. I have tried to read this book ever since I got it about 3 or 4 times, and I always end up stopping around the same points. I believe, do I have my bookmark in it anymore? Probably not. It's normally like right around here I normally stop at. I think the farthest I got was like 252. I just never read it. It's just ginormous. Stephen King, about clowns, and I don't know, like when I was reading it, maybe I'm crazy, but when I was reading it, I was having a hard time focusing because I noticed that the narration perspectives would change very quickly. It would go from one thing to something else, and I'd be like, can we just finish killing the character before we go to something else? I don't know. I just couldn't do it, and I just don't see myself ever finishing it. Maybe one day I'll finally hunker down and make this my sole book for a month, but until then, this is my never gonna finish book. Question number 5. I will never regret reading that. Name a book you would read solely on a recommendation that you would end up really liking. A book solely on recommendation that you would end up really... I don't want to choose books twice for this, but I'm going to anyways. Here's a Crows. Based on recommendation. This has been recommended to me many times, and I feel like, again, this would be something I would enjoy, just procrastinating on reading it. So I'm gonna choose this one. Alright, next question 6. I would never do that. Name a relatable character who made choices you didn't agree with or things you would never do. We're going to talk about the entirety of the Mortal Instruments series. Clary, Fairchild, Frey, whatever the heck her name is. She has like 10 last names, I don't know really. She is probably one of my least liked and most annoyed character. She drives me nuts. I don't think I've ever liked her, especially after, I think I did in City of Bones when I first read it. And then I read the rest of the books, and then I reread it, and I can't. Clary, she's a very... I want to say impulsive person. She'll do things without really getting the full story on, or she'll just do it without much permission. She kind of just does things. I'm not like that. Like sometimes. But I tend to plan everything out to the very second in breath. I will ask questions about an event, who's going, why they're going, when they're going, 2 weeks beforehand. I'd be like, what time do you want to do an appointment? And then my parents would be like, the appointment's in September. And I'd be like, what time do you want to do the appointment? Like, I'm very, like, planning. I have journals, notebooks, 3 calendar apps. I don't want to talk about it. A planner, bullet journal, notebook, notes app, Google Docs. Like, I take notes and plan everything out. I'm very organized. She's more just like, screw it, let's go do whatever I want because I can't. Absolutely not. Question number 7. I never wanted to admit it. Name a book that you were embarrassed to say you read or were embarrassed to carry around with you. Where is it? Okay, if I can reach it. I actually have 2 books for this. Well, a series, 2 series for this, to be worse. And they happen to both be green and beat up. So the first one I want to mention is the Sharon. Well, actually, I'm just go by author. But then again, no, I'm gonna go by the series. So back in like elementary and middle school, my mom did roller derby. If you don't know what that is, look up some videos on YouTube. They're a lot more descriptive and more easier to explain than me doing it. But yeah, and she had a friend who was giving away a lot of stuff, and there happened to be books in there. So me being a child and seeing animated covers drawn on illustrated, I thought, oh look, kids chapter book, reading chapter book at the time. And I brought books to school. What I did not know is that we do illustrated romance books, which then at the time I don't think is as popular as it is now. I think it was every now and then thing. Now almost every romance book, contemporary, adult or not, has illustrated covers, because I did become incredibly popular within the last, I want to say, 6 months, and it's still going on today. Like if you ask me what some of the releases are between 2019 and 2020 in romance, I'm telling you, a good 60-70% of those will be illustrated. But like I said, that was not very popular, at least not that I know of back then. And so for me to see this and bring it to school and read it, it was a dumb move. And I wish I knew what Goodreads was at the time, because I would have, figured that out if I had Goodreads. So what ended up happening is, not this specific book, I think Diamond, which is book 1 in this trilogy, it's The Gambler's Daughters, there's 3 sisters. I was on page like 108, and they had a very detailed, intimate, rated R scene. And then again about 20 pages later. Again, in school, middle school. The teacher read it over my shoulder, and she asked me what I was reading, and I said, honestly, ma'am, I don't know. I got this from a friend, and I was so embarrassed. Yeah. Next one would be the After series by Anna Todd. The reason why I was embarrassed to read this is because at that time, it still is, but I think then is a bit more popular than it was now, because it's a Wattpad novel. Everyone who reads Wattpad was like labeled as a nerd, geeky, what is the word for people? I don't know, just like looking for love. They always had names and teased people about it, and I was embarrassed to actually have this copy and have my own Wattpad account and write books on it, because I kind of wanted to keep that to myself, didn't want to be bullied and whatnot. And it was embarrassing, but I'm kind of proud of it, because I was one of the OG fans. But then I reread the series for the first time, and I was like, how did I like this? And now I'm kind of conflicted, because now the majority of the book community has thoughts and feelings on it, and a lot of them did just because they want to do a rant review, but whatever. We're gonna move on. Question number 8. I never read anything so heartwarming. Name of... Ooh, girl. I had to finish that sentence. Where's it at? Crap, my sister has one of them. We're just gonna... I have 3 books for this. One of them I do not have. That's Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune. I put a card of my vlog here. Second one is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I've talked about this in like 10 of my videos. I've done a vlog for it. I've talked about it, reviewed it, tweeted about it. You already know. And the next one is The Rescue, which I do believe I talked about a couple times, but not as much. The Rescue is amazing. Again, Nicholas Sparks is a very controversial author. A lot of people like him for some things he has said and done. I don't know what exactly he said and done. I just read the books, some of them. This one I really enjoyed, because this is about a single mom and her son who has like learning disabilities, I guess. I don't think they ever give it like a specific name, because it's kind of part of the storyline. And towards the end, there's a bit of a development between his relationship and his mother, and I cry every time. Like, I think that might have been the first books I read in a while that I cried for. I just remember like reading it and crying and then being like, I haven't cried like this in so long. What is going on? It was a mess. I kind of want to reread it, even though I reread it like 4 times, but who cares? What's the next question? Question number 9. I have never laughed so loud. Name a book that made you laugh incredibly loud. Oh boy, girl. I want to say this one. There were a couple, like, I feel like because this is geared to young adult and does have a lot of pop culture references in it, it was easier for me to understand and relate and laugh at these things, while other books like this is more towards adult and mature, and this is more towards like heartthrob teens and, you know, like certain things, I don't know. I just feel like this one was more modern to our age, our times, and types of things, and I like enjoyed it and reacted. As you can see, there's a lot of tabs in here. And the last question is, I never could have made it through a childhood without it. Name a childhood book or book series. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a nice big stack, just like that one question asking about a book a favorite book. So, you know, I read a lot, and some years I can potentially read over 100 books, and that's just because I do. And a lot of that stemmed from my childhood, and a lot of these books that were read in my childhood, I reread now because they're amazing, and they really brought me joy in my life and put me in the position I am in now, and maybe who I am now, and you know, they're very dear to my heart and mean a lot to me, and so I just kind of like to surround myself with them to remind myself of the wonderful times that they brought me. And so we're just going to, you know, here's all of them. If I can get situated. Like I said, I started a Wattpad account like 7th, 8th grade with my friend. She had her own account, and I wrote on there all the time. And I remember crying and texting her phone the first time I hit 1,000 views on a book, and then I hit 100,000 on 3 of my books, and I cried on the phone with her. And I read this series like 10 times. Okay, read this in middle school. Again, there were some sex scenes in there that I was not prepared for, but I did really enjoy the romance, like the actual romance and relationship building part, because it really showed me how exactly relationships should be and how I should be treated. This one, Dystopians, God tier. I don't know what Gail Carson Levine was smoking, because this and Ella Enchanted were amazing. I remember checking this out like every month at my school library. Marissa Meyer, you already know, 5 stars every book. James Patterson, Maximum Ride, read it like 20 million times. Little mad he keeps continuing with the series, but I'm still a stan. I still pre-ordered and buy every single one. James Patterson, same with this. City of Bones. Started, I believe they were one of the first series that I got into in the teen era. And then I went on like a couple years of, cannot think of the word, and a book slump for a couple years, and then I saw the book's video, and I now have a whole shelf later. You know, Marissa Meyer, quality content. Dystopian, Suzanne Collins was on some good stuff. Good stuff. I remember when the movie was first coming out, and I was I believe in middle school. I believe it was middle school. I can't remember if it was middle or elementary school. It was in the classroom. We had TVs in the corner of the classroom, like the big box TVs, and it had like the sound from the static, and they make the weird noise every time they click the button. Oh my gosh. And we used to watch like the little Scholastic videos, and I remember they played the little trailer for Hunger Games, and everyone did the 3-finger signal, and we all kissed our fingers and we whistled. Girl, y'all, childhood right here. So, you know, if you ever need a childhood suggestion, just check out my shelves, because majority of them are from childhood. I just want to make it known that when I move out to a nice house that I live in for a while, and I have the ability to have a lot of shelves and or a book room, I'm going to start completing my series. As you can see, I have a lot of series on my shelves. A lot of them are from childhood things I like to read, and I want to complete them. Like for this, I'm missing a few. I don't have Marissa Meyer. I'm still missing some here. So like, once I get those, I'm probably going to do what Books and Lala does, rereading books from childhood, and it's going to be the best time. But until then, I'm going to keep crying out and have everything, and I'm going to keep talking about other things. And so that's the end of this video. The I never read book tag, I will link hardback quarters video, the one that inspired me, and if I can find the original, I'll link that one too. And thank you guys so much for watching. I do believe we'll be hanging out for a couple more tags within the next couple weeks. If you have any more video ideas, etc., let me know in the comments, DMs, etc. I have seen a couple of those on Twitter. People have been tweeting me, so I'm we'll go through and say those in a second. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!